Streaming from Oklahoma's own digital studio, this is OU Football Update, brought to you by Brahms.
All right, hi, everybody. It's time to react. We now have a college football playoff bracket, and what do y'all think? It's an Oklahoma's own sports pod. Chris Williams joining me. Toby Rowland here, News 9, News on 6. The Sooners will play the Alabama Crimson Tide Friday, December 19th, 7 o'clock on Owen Field. Chris, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, Toby. It's the bracket is here. A few surprises on there. I'm thankful that I'm not on the committee because that does not seem like a very fun job, though I do always feel like I could do a better job than the committee. I think everyone does, right? Every year, regardless.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we're all smarter than the committee is, for sure. What did you think about, when the bracket popped up? Well, first off, let me tell my story. I was in the air with the OU basketball team. They were delayed because we couldn't get out last night. There was low visibility in Oklahoma City. And so we had to stay an extra night in Phoenix last night and flew home this morning. And so when the bracket reveal took place, we were at 30,000 feet or whatever and didn't find out until we were coming into land in Oklahoma City and everybody's phones started going off at the same time. I was surprised. I honestly did not think it would be Alabama. I thought if Alabama won, they would jump up, and if they lost, they would move down. Mm-hmm. And I thought it would either be Notre Dame or Miami. So color me surprised before we talk about the matchup. What about you?
Yeah, same boat. I had to double check what I was watching. I go, are they doing last week's bracket? It felt dated seeing Alabama on that 9 line still. And then there's the inconsistencies of it, Toby. The chair of the committee sat on there on ESPN and said, the way BYU lost the Big 12 championship game, we knew they had to bump down, and that's why Miami went ahead of them. And then went on to explain why Miami went ahead of Notre Dame. And I'm sitting there going, 5 minutes ago, you were saying, well, we weren't going to punish Alabama for losing a championship game, which they lost in a manner very similarly to the manner in which BYU lost.
Yeah.
So they applied the function to BYU, and then they didn't apply it here. Boy, if I'm a Notre Dame fan, I am not happy. You saw Reese Davis. Reese Davis was pressing the chair on ESPN a lot, kind of saying, What difference is there? Neither of these teams played, and then all of a sudden Miami is worthy of being in ahead of Notre Dame. Why even have the bracket come out every week for the last 6 weeks, Toby? I don't get it.
Honestly, in that regard, I think they got it right, and I understand it as it relates to Notre Dame and Miami. I think the team that should have been left out is Alabama.
I agree.
But as it relates to Notre Dame and Miami, I would be perfectly fine with them doing away with the Tuesday night show. It is good TV, and it fuels the debate, and that's what we love about college football and basketball. There is no debating who gets in the NBA playoffs or who gets in the Major League Baseball playoffs or the NFL playoffs. It is cut and dry. But there is some subjectivity to the NCAA basketball tournament, who gets in, and to this college football playoff. And so the fact that show comes out every week fuels that. And I think that's secretly what we like about this sport, even if it doesn't always work out in favor of our team. But if you did away with that show on Tuesday nights and just waited for this one final decision, then you wouldn't have as much controversy. But that being said, when the first rating came out, Miami was just coming off that loss to SMU, and they were not playing very good football. And Notre Dame was, and so they ranked Miami down. And as the year closed, they played better and better and kept winning, and the teams between them lost, and the gap closed, and then they were right next to each other. And when they're right next to each other, you're like, you know what? This team beat that team, boom. So I kind of get that. I just feel like, personally, Alabama's behind them both, but that's neither here nor there. Alabama's a really good team, and I get why you don't punish a team for losing in a conference championship game. It makes sense. Somebody was going to be angry. There was no way around it. Either Notre Dame fans, Miami fans, or Alabama fans were going to be upset. And it happens to be Notre Dame fans. And you know what? In the history of the sport, no team has received more breaks than Notre Dame. So maybe they got a bad one here, but they probably deserve about 25 more to even things out. since Newt Rockne gave his speech in the locker room. So sad for Notre Dame, but they lost their first 2 games of the year, and they don't get to play this year.
It's just the Tuesdays are supposed to be so that it's not a big shock come Selection Sunday. So that's why, I don't know, that's why I'm having a hard time, Toby, with that. I believe that Notre Dame should have been behind Miami all along because of that metric. I just don't understand how the penultimate one comes out on Tuesday and you still have it one way, and why you punish one team for losing in the conference championship game and not another.
Right.
And some of those inconsistencies. What do you think of the matchup? I mean, OU trying to beat Alabama for the 3rd time in 13 months?
Yeah. I've mixed feelings. I'm trying to work through those mixed feelings right now. I'm on a chat group with my family, and half of them are excited and love it, and half of them hate it because of what you just said. We just beat these guys. It's going to be hard to beat a good team again. Mm-hmm. And you're right. It is. It's going to be really hard. Alabama has revenge on their side. And they also are, they're going to be fueled by that, and they're going to be fueled by everybody saying for the next 2 weeks about how poorly they played in the SEC championship and how maybe they don't deserve to be in this thing. So I don't love that from an Oklahoma perspective. On the other hand, from a pure X's and O's perspective, I do feel like it's a pretty good matchup for Oklahoma. Like, I feel like Brent Venables has a good bead on what Alabama does. Again, it's a quarterback that doesn't have a ton of mobility. Ty Simpson's really good. But it is the Trinidad Chambliss type, the mobile quarterback, that has had the most success against Oklahoma this year. And they're really beat up. Their running back situation is not really. We'll see who they get back in the next couple of weeks. So I don't know what to think. I know that Owen Field is going to be an unbelievable environment. It really didn't matter who the opponent is, but it's Alabama in a college football playoff game, in a night game. And this is going to be something very, very special. Matchup-wise, I didn't give you a definitive answer there because we just found out, and I'm trying to figure out whether I like it or don't. I haven't figured it out yet. What do you think?
Similar, because it's so easy to once again be like, well, it's Alabama. How many teams in history have beat Alabama 3 times in a row regardless, and then 3 times in such a short span? But then you look at, their offense has not been good really the back half of the season. They struggled against LSU the week before they played OU. They struggled in that SEC championship game, and you look at the way Venables made them uncomfortable, and
they didn't play great against Auburn.
Right. Yeah, that was a close game too. The committee said that game was a very impressive win for them, though. Just going back to our friends of the committee. Yeah. If Oklahoma takes care of the football, that's going to be the message on both sides. I think both locker rooms and coaches are going to say, if we can take care of the football, we win this football game. That's what it's going to come down to on both sides. Mateer's coming off a lot of turnovers against LSU, and Alabama, of course. I mean, how many times have their fans said, well, if it weren't for the lucky turnovers of Taylor Wine coming off the edge and getting the awesome strip sack and the pick 6, then they would have won that game. So I really do, taking care of the football, I think that's going to be the biggest thing it comes down to. But it's going to be grimy like Venables likes it. I think it's going to be fun, Toby. I think it's going to be a very fun game.
The problem Alabama faces is, if you want to play conservative, don't turn it over football, then you lean on the run game. That's what you do. That's what Missouri did. And if you've got a good running game, that's what you do. But Bama doesn't right now.
Right.
And so they kind of have to put it in the air to move the ball. The 2 teams are similar in that regard. And when you do that, and Oklahoma has the array of blitzes and everything you can throw at, then you bring risk into play. So I agree with you completely. Like, if OU wins the turnover battle 3-0 again, they win the game. If they win it, 1-0, they may win the game. But the other side, I don't foresee Alabama putting up a big total.
Yeah.
What does Oklahoma score? They got a lot of help from their defense in Tuscaloosa. The defense scored directly once and put the offense in great field position a few times. That's their formula.
Mm-hmm.
What does the extra rest do? Oh, you got an extra week of rest than Alabama did. Is John Mateer a little healthier? Can they move the ball a little better? How willing is Oklahoma to be risky here? Because we just saw in their last game against LSU, they almost blew it because they turned it over a couple of times. I think you're going to have two very, very conservative offensive game plans. And it feels kind of like what we saw in the Big Ten championship game last night. Like, this is going to be 13-10, right?
Yes.
This is going to be 17-13. It's going to be a tight battle. The one decisive, overwhelming advantage Oklahoma has going in is special teams.
Mm-hmm.
Unquestionably, they got the better kicker. Alabama's special teams have not been good this year across the board. And Oklahoma's have been great. So they have to win that and win it decisively. A stat that I don't know if enough's been made of it, but in the first matchup in Tuscaloosa, Alabama had 11 drives. All 11 started inside their own 30. And the average difference in starting field position was 22 yards. So every drive OU started on average was 22 yards further upfield than Alabama's, which if you go times 11 is what, 220, 242 yards if I did the quick math. That's an extra 242 yards Oklahoma got in starting field position because of either punt returns or the defense pinning them deep or good punts or whatever the case may be, turnovers. So that, special teams feels like it's going to win or lose this game too. But, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Kudos to Brent Venables and this team for, one, getting in, and two, being in a spot where they host a playoff game. Just a remarkable accomplishment. What about beyond this one? Well, the team's not allowed to look ahead, but pundits are.
Yes.
So if they get past Alabama, it would be Indiana, the number 1 seed in the Rose Bowl. And if you got past that, theoretically, then Texas Tech in a semifinal game.
Cinnamon rolls with Thanksgiving? Last time I ate like that, I was pregnant.
Chloe, no one get in here.
She's walking. Eggnog.
Say 2009.
2009. Happy New Year.
Grammy, my baby, eat all the cinnamon rolls.
I've got plenty.
I feel better about Indiana as a matchup in the Rose Bowl than Ohio State. But maybe some point I need to just grow up and say Indiana is a good football program. Now, I keep writing off their wins kind of being like, yeah, I'd still probably rather Indiana than Ohio State. I still, even though they beat Ohio State head-to-head on Saturday, feel like Ohio State's a better football team. And again, maybe I'm naive on that. I think it's interesting you have both Tulane and James Madison in, Toby, how this whole thing backfired. The power conference is saying, we'll do 5 conference champions are guaranteed, 5 highest ranked ones. And then all of a sudden, the situation we talked about weeks and weeks ago about Duke somehow winning the ACC actually happened. And I have to be honest, Toby, I think that's a little bit of why the committee put Miami in. They deny it, but
we broke that story, by the way. We go way back. We broke the Duke win in the ACC story. Go ahead.
We willed it to happen.
Yeah.
I think the committee, that's a big part of why Miami made it onto the bracket too, is they felt like, well, we probably should represent all 4 power conferences in some form or fashion. Really fast, on Alabama's rush game, Toby, the greatest social media post I saw yesterday was SEC rushing stats. Number 1 for the Saturday. Number 1, Georgia, with however many yards they had. Tied for number 2, 14 teams. And then number 16, Alabama, -3 rush yards. Every SEC team that didn't play was ahead of Alabama in rush yards yesterday. How unbelievable is that?
Yeah. They'll be better. They'll be fueled and they'll be better. But we'll see. What about the other first round matchups? Miami at Texas A&M is that's gonna be a fun one. I can't wait to see that. I guess that'll be the first game on Saturday, right? Down in College Station?
I think so, yep. Yeah, that'll be a fun one, and we'll get to find out. I feel like that one could be a little more high scoring, a little more excitement after a grinded out one Friday night. I'm looking at the other, Ole Miss, Tulane, they played earlier this year. Ole Miss won, 45-10 or something
Right.
along those lines. James Madison, Oregon, I don't know. I'm sure Dan Lanning will still be just as shaky and hyped up as he always is. Doesn't matter who they're playing.
Yeah.
But that A&M Miami, I think that's the other fun one to watch. And I think Miami might be feeling really grateful to get in and have a little extra oomph to them.
Let's assume the favorites win, okay?
Okay.
Or the higher seeded teams, I should say, win.
Yeah.
Second round matchups, Texas A&M and Ohio State.
Yeah, I haven't seen the Buckeyes play enough teams that are of that high. I think Ohio State is the best team in the country right now, though Georgia looked dangerous too.
You would have a Georgia-Ole Miss rematch. That was a great game in Athens.
Yes. I think Georgia probably wins
in
that
Athens
one.
earlier this year. Ole Miss led almost that entire game, but Georgia stole it in the fourth.
Yeah.
Texas Tech and Oregon would be
That
a
one.
fantastic football game.
Yeah. Be juicy. It could shape up to be fun. I don't know about some of these first round games, but I think there's a lot of great teams. I think it's wide open, Toby, of who could win this national championship.
And then Indiana and Oklahoma would be in the Rose Bowl, by the way, on New Year's Day. Whoever wins the Oklahoma-Alabama game will play Indiana in the Rose Bowl on, I think, 3 o'clock on New Year's Day. Semifinals, by the way, this is off the dome, so correct me if I'm wrong here. Semifinals will be in the Fiesta Bowl and the Peach Bowl. Pretty sure I'm right about that?
Yep.
I don't know that they delineate in advance who plays in which. I think they wait to see the matchups before they decide that. And then the national championship game will be played in the Orange Bowl. My least favorite radio booth I've ever called a game in, the Orange Bowl in Miami.
Worse
But
than
I will
Notre?
suck it up and call a game there one more time if Oklahoma is playing there for a national
Hey,
championship.
Toby.
So theoretically, the path for the Sooners is Alabama at home, Indiana in Pasadena, Texas Tech or Oregon in maybe the Fiesta Bowl, probably out west for that one, you would think.
Yeah.
And then either Ohio State or Georgia for a national championship game.
Boy. Hey, they just went through a November slate that didn't sound that different from that. So,
Yeah, December to remember now, huh?
hey, we
By the
have
way,
a
the Sooners
special.
are an underdog at home. The opening line has Alabama favored by 1.5.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
At least
Well-
what I just saw. I saw it on X, and Twitter is
Yeah.
always right, I think.
Well,
So,
my Blitz locks this year have been very poor, so I'm not going to make a prediction there. Clearly, Vegas knows it more than me. Toby, we should promote our pre-playoff special that Wednesday.
Let's do it.
What's the day that Wednesday?
December 17th, Wednesday, December 17th at 6:30, we will have a live half-hour OU
No
playoff
commercials,
special.
by the way.
The Chase for 8, I believe, is what we're calling it. And I don't even know everything that's in the show at this point, but it's going to be fantastic. So make sure you set your DVRs. I do also want to tease, if you're watching this on Sunday afternoon, tonight on the Blitz, we're going to be joined by Teddy Lehman and Gabe Eichert, my partners on the Sooner Radio broadcast, also the hosts of the very popular Oklahoma Breakdown podcast. They're going to give us their opinions on the bracket and Oklahoma's draw as well tonight on the Blitz, as well as, we got the Thunder playing again today. Matt Pinto's going to join us. So big show coming up tonight on the Blitz.
Yeah, love it. All right, Toby. Brent Venables about to have his Zoom press conference. So.
All right. Way to go, Chris. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you a little later tonight. Make sure you watch the big show, and we'll see you next time here on Oklahoma Zone Sports.
Thank you for watching this Oklahoma Zone digital studio stream. Stay with News 9, online and on television anytime for the latest news, weather, and sports.